Hey guys, what's good? What's poppin'? In today's video, I'm going to take you guys through how I installed this loose deep wig from Wiggins Hair. So I'm just going to kind of run through all the prep I did because I want to show you guys that the hair did not come like this out of the box. Most of my wigs, I do have to do some work to get it to look, slayed and laid. But here's just a quick unboxing for you guys. It was a 28-inch wig, 250% density, and I did get this in a large cap size. I did find this wig to be big head friendly. I mean, granted, I did get a large cap, but it fit my head pretty well, and I did have some room. I could have gotten away with getting a medium average cap size because with closures, I feel like the cap really fits a lot better, and like an average cap size will do for a closure. Frontals, it's more a bit, different. And for reference, I do have a 22.5 circumference head, so she's a little bit big. But here's a look at how the hairline and the hair was looking like right out of the box. The hair was giving very much wave, loose wave, as you could see, and the hairline was slightly pre-plucked, but it was not bleached. So next thing we're going to do is bleach the knots and get into the plucking after that. So to prep my knots, what I've been doing these days is I use a 20 volume developer first. I apply this, just a developer, straight onto the lace. This just kind of helps soften up the knots a bit so it can take the bleach a lot better. So if you find like your wigs do not lift all the way, try doing this first to kind of help soften them. So I let the developer sit for about 30 minutes and then I go ahead and rinse it out and bring the wig back to actually get the knots bleached. Sorry, this is a bit like fast, guys. It's not really much of a detailed tutorial. I just kind of walk you guys quickly through what I did as prep so you understand, how much work goes into getting your wigs to look like scalp, because most of these wigs do not come perfect and install ready out of the box. Some do, and I always mention which ones are, but this is not one of those wigs. Anyways, so once I've let the hair pre-bleach, I guess I'll call it, I washed out the developer and I'm going in with a blue bleaching powder and I'm just spreading that with a popsicle stick all across the lace. If you do want like a detailed tutorial, I have lots of them. I have one that's literally like almost an hour long where I'm taking my time, non-fast forwarded, just showing you guys exactly what I do. So go ahead and check that out. Anyways, so once I made sure the hair was nice and saturated with the bleach, I went in with some foil paper and kind of just let that sit on the hair for about another 30-ish minutes. But like I always say, make sure you set like a 10-minute timer and you check the lace every 10 minutes or 5 minutes. You do not want to over bleach your knots, okay? Knots have been perfectly bleached. You can see it has like a bit of that orange yellowy tone. That's how I know she is ready to be washed. So I'm just going here and just washing out the bleach, and this time I'm using a purple conditioner, not a purple shampoo. I was out of purple shampoo. I got this from a beauty supply store. I didn't even know they had purple conditioner, but honestly it works just as fine. Some of you guys have asked me, can you skip using purple shampoo? You can, and I have, but I find like the roots really be shouting whenever you skip this step. Like, it looks quite orange, so you can get away with it and maybe use some concealer to kind of help tone it down, but I just kind of just use a purple shampoo just to help it anyways. Here I am just kind of showing you guys quickly that I did have to also pluck the wig. It did come slightly pre-plucked, but it was just like a little bit on the thicker side, but I'm guessing that's because of the higher density. So I did have to do a little bit of plucking to get it to, look more natural on my hairline, and I used my hot comb to help press the hairline back. One thing I've noticed is that whenever I use my hot comb before installing the wig to press back the hairline, it just makes installing a lot easier and it makes everything look so much more neat. And now the wig is ready to be placed on my head. So under my head, as you see in the beginning clip when I'm saying hello, I just have on a standard black wig cap. I don't do ball cap method or any of that. I just make sure I have a wig cap to help protect my braids from getting caught onto the wig clips. And I use some pressed powder foundation to help me tint my lace. That's what you saw me doing earlier. And here I'm just using my scissors to cut off the little ear tabs, like not the ear tabs, but the little thick white part that is at the end of your closure. This part is meant to be cut off because it will not stick and it's just going to ruin your install. So for laying down my lace, I'm using my Ebon Wonder Lace. You know, love her, use her all the time, bestie. And one thing I've been saying a lot in my videos to help you guys with your application of this product is when you spray it, make sure you're spraying mainly on the lace and less on the hair. And you're using your finger to kind of just help spread that product around to help get a nice thin layer so you don't have, like, you know, all that cakey buildup and residue. To help dry everything up and make the lace nice and stuck, I'm using my blow dryer on a cool setting and a comb. And right here you can see I'm also like combing the hair through. This kind of just helps make sure the hair is not getting really hard and crunchy later whenever I'm trying to do my baby hairs. Once my lace is dry, this time I'm using scissors instead of my normal eyebrow razor to cut off my lace. But as you can see, even though I'm using scissors, I'm trying to make sure I'm cutting in a up and down motion to kind of give that jagged look, which is what the reason why I use razors anyways. So if you're going to use scissors, make sure you're not cutting straight across and you're cutting up and down to create a jagged look on the lace, because this kind of just lays a lot more naturally on your head. I like to pull out what is going to be used for my baby hairs before I go ahead and add my elastic band. I like to pull this out first so that way it can kind of just stick with the ebon lace spray, whatever residue is left on there, so that the hairs I'm going to use for baby hairs are going to be nice and pushed down and lay flat. So once I've pulled them out, I go ahead and use my elastic band and lay that on my lace and kind of just let this sit for about another 10 minutes to ensure everything is nice and dry. Swoop my baby hairs, I'm using my bestie, which is the Eco Styler Gel. I like using this gel over any other product that I've tried because it does offer some hold without it being too crunchy. Like, you can still easily brush out the baby hairs and get the nice light feathery look, but at the same time it also can be give that stuck down look if that's what you like. So I like it. I just feel like it's very versatile and it's easy to use. And I use Got2b, and I feel like Got2b sometimes gets so sticky and tacky and can be super messy. Now that our baby hairs are done and they're laying under our elastic band, let's get into the detangling and defining of these waves. So I keep it very simple. You already know. If you don't know, I just have a big old spray bottle filled with water. This time no conditioners, literally just straight water. And the key to this is getting the hair drenched. Like, when I say drenched, you gotta be soaked there should be no dry patches, right? So once I make sure the hair is properly soaked and drenched with water, I use my paddle brush and I keep brushing and brushing. You gotta brush with intention, okay? Brush till you start to see those curls and ringlet form. Even though this is wavy hair, it still was able to form into a little bit of a ringlet, as I'll show you right now. You see those little like ringlets, how the hair is clumping together? Yes, beautiful. That's what we're going for. Once I get the hair to clump together like that, I also scrunch to also help promote, the clumping together, because you want it to stay like this. And once it dries fully, it will look just like this, but dry, which is how I get that very defined look that I get for all of my hair. So I went ahead and just repeat this process all over the head, working in sections, especially since it's really big hair, kind of helps to make sure I'm getting everything properly wet, and I'm, brushing out every piece that needs to be brushed out. One thing I've been doing differently for my wavy and curly wigs is I actually like to add a bit of this Nairobi styling mousse. This kind of helps just keep the waves to keep helps the curls slash waves hold their shape longer, so like kind of helps prevent with frizz throughout the day. So I do a few pumps of that, and I just scrunch the hair to help everything form. And I'm just going to show you guys one side on camera, and like I always say, make sure you leave this to dry. So I went ahead and just finished the other side off camera, left it to air dry for about an hour. I'm going to come back and show you guys the air dried results. Here is the final result of the hair. You can see the hair is much more defined and looks so pretty like this. Like, I love this hairstyle so much. I wanted to show you guys the full hair, so I had to use my phone because my lens doesn't ever capture the full length of the hair. So here is the hair in all its glory and beauty, and it was just honestly one of my favorite looks. Very vacation, spring break, beachy vibes friendly. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's all I have for you guys. Hope to see you in another one. Like, comment, and subscribe, and peace out, Girl Scouts. Goodbye.